Hi there folks, welcome back to my channel. For this video I'm going to be going into the centre of Glasgow. For this one I'm actually going to just be leaving the car outside my house. I've just finished the day job, just gotten back. And I'm going to be heading down to the nearest train station and getting the train into the centre of Glasgow. I'm actually going to be going on one of the City Sightseeing Tours, which leaves from George Square and takes you around quite a bit of the city. It's hop on, hop off, so it's a great way if you're maybe wanting to get around, see different things. You can get on the bus, see the city and also figure out where you want to stop. You can jump off, come back on later on. Yeah, it's a great wee tour bus. And I'm sure it's the same company that does a lot of different tour buses around quite a few of the European cities. I'm sure there's one in Edinburgh, one in London. I'm sure there's even one in Paris. I'm sure this is the same one that I got on when I was in Paris. And it was great there. It's great in Glasgow. Been in the Glasgow one as well. It's a great way to see the city. And I've been to quite a few of the stops on the tour and done videos. But this would be a kind of great way of maybe kind of connecting them all for you. So I'm just going to grab a bag in a minute and head down to the train station and get into Glasgow. Before I do that, if you're enjoying my channel, if you're enjoying my videos, if you can click on the subscriber button, click on that notification bell, leave some likes, leave some comments, it's always really appreciated. And if you'd like to support the channel further, I will post a link to the channel's coffee.com page and the channel's TikTok account in the description bar below and in the pinned comment in the comment section. So with that out of the road, I'm going to grab my things and get myself to the train station. Yeah, just come up to the train station. Well, that's me on the tour bus. We've got two here. We've got one that's going to be heading off first. That's the one with the pre-recorded audio. So it's in English, French, German, Spanish, Polish, Cantonese and Mandarin. And we've also got the live tour guide, which is on my bus. And yeah, so this is going to be a good one.
Glasgow Style Mile for Fashion. So ready? Straight ahead here. Well, Glasgow the city is built on approximately 36 to 37 hills. These hills are called Drumlands and they were formed during the Ice Age. This is an example of one straight ahead. A hill called a drumland. Roy Rogers and Trigger in the 1950s was in the hotel for a publicity stunt, for a photo, yeah? That's above the station to your right, everyone. Look at the top of the building on your left. The Godora building, on last. And the reason as to why Alexander Greek Thompson got the middle name Greek Thompson is because of that fact. He incorporated a lot of classical Greek influence into the buildings for which he designed. From Sydney in Australia on your left also, depicting a child and the feature of nature and how the child is trying to plant a wind turbine into the soil. That's it. And as we turn, just be careful, yeah, we're going to turn now. On the left, Swimmers and Divers by Sam Bates from Sydney, Australia. 3 weeks to complete with aerosol cans for Commonwealth Games, Glasgow hosted in 2014. Well, number 10 is your next stop for the hotel. Inside the round red brick building called the Rotunda. And there's the one straight ahead where the underground tunnels led to. One in front of us too was built in 1931 above on your left. It's part of the legacy of the shipbuilding history and it can hold 175 ton maximum load. Number 11 is your next stop. On your right hand side, this is the Ovo Hydro. It's a concert venue. They ask that you book in advance for the tours as it's often very popular. On the left here, the tallest standing free structure in Scotland, the Glasgow Tower, part of the Science Centre complex. And so you straight ahead in the 6. Anyone for 11A? No? Well, in 1891, everyone, Thomas Lipton had a shop here, the maker of the Lipton brand of tea sold globally. He was born to Irish parents in the Gorbals. But when his shop stood in Stob Cross Street, it not only sold his tea here, designed by Zaha Hadid on your left. She was the Iraqi-born architect who also designed a lot of other buildings around the globe as well. Zaha Hadid, the architect of the Riverside Museum on your left. Inside it has all the vintage transport. That wooden device called the drum file is on display to this very day. It's on display in the People's Palace. And they used to have the Black Maria criminal vans used to take the criminals to the huge sculpture of Charles Rennie Mackintosh. Completed by, and on the left, is the Mitchell Library. And it was paid to be built here by Stephen Mitchell, if the truth be known, he was a tobacco merchant. At the top of the dome on your left is Minerva, the Lady of Wisdom. Inside you can trace your Glasgow University on your left, designed by Sir George Gilbert Scott in his Gothic crow-stepping style of architecture. Look up on your left. This building above on the left, Glasgow University, Sir George Gilbert Scott designed it. And he also designed right beneath the bridge, the River Kelvin flowing beneath us. Great photos here you can get. It's a gorgeous part of the city. And you can walk through the Kelvin Grove Park and you can enjoy all that it has to offer. On the right, this is Kelvin Hall Sports Centre for the athletes train. Now, Stephen, we've got quite a few visitors coming down for this one, so if you tell the visitors when they come on just to wait at the bottom of the stairwell. Okay, this is 16. To the left beneath us, the well-manicured bowling lawns to your left. Kelvin Grove Park on your left were designed by Joseph Paxton, who designed the Crystal Palace in London, England as well. Tennis courts to your far left, and the bowling lawns. In 1888, the Great Exhibition was held here when Queen Victoria was present. And this is 17. While the name Sauchiehall Street means Meadow of the Willow Trees or Willow Bank, before the buildings and roads were here, it was surrounded by farmland and trees, mostly willow trees, in the early 1700s time. The Charing Cross mansions with the French mansard sloping roof, and on your left above, the different signs of the zodiac in gold above on your left. Built in 1891, designed by John Burnett. Look at the top of the building on the left, the angel at the top of the old Victograph building. This is for the casino and tenement house. If any visitors want to go, it's not a free attraction, you pay. On the left here, the Beresfords. John F. Kennedy made one of his first speeches in that Art Deco building in the 1930s. At the top of the audit column, Ivanhoe, Lady of the Lake, Lord Roy, the Waverley novels, and so much more. And here on the right, Queen Street Railway Station. Useful to know where the stations are. And on the right, this hotel at the corner on the right was once called the North British Hotel, where Harry... You're welcome. Have a lovely day, okay? Have a lovely day. Thank you so much. Joseph Levy's remains were the first to be interred in the cemetery called the Necropolis, Glasgow City of the Dead. Lord Joseph Lister at one time had his surgical wards at the front of the building. He was the man behind the antiseptic carbolic spray which saved thousands of lives on the operating tables. On the left, the statue of Dr. David Livingstone, Scottish missionary, whose former home is a museum in Blantyre. Sadly, on the left and right, the two museums here have still not yet opened since the COVID scenario began. On the right here, this is the oldest house in Glasgow on your right hand side, the Province Lordship. It is 1471 on your right, the oldest house in Glasgow. It's where Mary Queen of Scots is claimed to have written the casket letters. The casket letters involved a plot in which she was intending on killing her husband, Lord Darnley. So it's claimed she wrote them in this little building on the right, the 1471 oldest house in Glasgow, Province Lordship. Sadly closed. On the left, sadly closed. I hate having to tell my visitors this, but these buildings have not opened since COVID began. Completed by Sam Bates from Sydney in Australia. Now not to burn Glasgow down from 1745-46 times. Back then, Bonnie Prince Charlie was demanding shoes and supplies. Want a photo? The Market Cross Monument with the unicorn at the very top of the monument ahead, coming from the Royal Scottish Coat of Arms, designed by Edith Burnett Hughes. Down to the right here, 1652, the Great Fire of Glasgow began on the Tron Gate. On the right, the UK now lives in Florida today, in the United States of America, with his wife Pamela Stevenson. He's a very funny man, but he's a good actor too, Billy Connolly. Down to your right, the stripes of the pathway beneath us represent all the rock and indie bands. The stripes of the pathway beneath us, all the rock and indie bands they represent, who performed in the Barrowland Ballroom, past up until present. The city of London, England, in honour to Admiral Lord Nelson's victory at Trafalgar. If you want a photo, mind your faces with the branches here. Just mind your faces with the branches. On your right for a photo, Nelson's column. There you go. It was a lot taller in height many years ago, but when lightning struck, a huge section crumbled to the ground. Thank goodness it's got a lightning conductor at the top. So South Africa, India, Canada, Australia, New Zealand surrounding the Royal Golden Fountain and the Lion's Head. Senior laws. But you have a nice meal too. It's very busy. Under the trees to your left, there's some people outside enjoying the West Brewery. And a very close liking to what he would have looked like. The original tea rooms will be closed at 5 o'clock, of course, are on Sucking Hall Street. Downstairs, or anyone upstairs wants number 6, don't miss your stops. Press the button on the blue pole. This is for the Clutha Pub, Scotia Pub. This venue, they sell designer clothing from Gucci, Armani, Dolce & Gabbana, Cruise, the list goes on. The Gallery of Modern Art with the Corinthian columns. If the trip be known, it was the former home of William Cunningham. Cunning by name, cunning by nature. And at the very front, you've got the Duke of Wellington statue on his horse Copenhagen. Now, the Duke of Wellington came from Ireland, and he's very rarely not seen. Yeah. Very rarely not seen without the traffic cone in his head. The statue.
Well, that's me back from a little trip on the sightseeing tour bus through Glasgow. And as with previous trips that I've had on the tour bus, it was a really great tour around the city, really informative. You do learn things about the city that you might not pick up through other means. But I do apologise that some of the footage was a bit sugary. I think there were just some traffic calming measures in certain parts of the city centre, which does make kind of interesting when you're driving along in a double-decker bus. But again, it was, as with previous trips that I've had on the City Sightseeing Tour Bus, it's been a really good tour, really informative, and as I was on the one that had the live guide, that wasn't the audio tour, I actually had somebody sitting on the bus with us with a microphone talking about the bits of the city we were going through. And yeah, I think I did actually pick up a couple of things that I might not have known before. So yeah, it's even though that I do know the centre of Glasgow fairly well, it's always still good to be able to go on something like the tour bus and see the city from a different perspective. So I certainly enjoyed my little trip on the tour bus. Hopefully you will all have enjoyed watching this video and seeing Glasgow from the perspective of the City Sightseeing Tour Bus. And it was nice to be able to see some of the locations that I've already been to in Glasgow, like the Clydeside Distillery, the Riverside Museum, and it's even the Science Centre as well, from the perspective of the tour bus. And hopefully, if you are all coming to Glasgow and you have seen this video, hopefully you will all go on the tour bus and enjoy your trip and enjoy your visit to the city when you do come. So I'm gonna sign off just now. Hopefully I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.